Is that better or no? Or am I
Okay, you're horizontal.
horizontal?
I had
Okay.
mine horizontal first. You want to do it horizontal?
This is good.
Okay.
This is good.
You're on.
Okay. I don't see you though for moderator. Where are you?
I'm showing.
I'm trying to set a moderator here. Hold on. I don't
What
know if you
platform are you using?
maybe if you put a comment. There you go.
Krista, what program are you using?
I'll move it.
I'm already on there.
Oh, you're already a moderator. Okay. I'm sorry, Lavender. I apologize. I'm on YouTube Live.
Oh, okay.
Okay, great. Well, we have my daughter's in here. Hi, Britt. And then we have Miss Norma Boone. Hi, Norma. We're just going to give it a few more minutes. We have a few more people while they're popping on. Lavender, thank you so much for joining me today. I really appreciate this.
Girl, my pleasure. Girl, I can talk business all day.
All day long. I thought about you when I was getting this segment together. I was telling Carissa, I don't know if you remember Carissa, but I was like,
I do.
Lavender would be absolutely perfect. Okay, great. Well, let's see. It's 3:58 now. We said 4 o'clock, but I'm going to go ahead and get
One of us
started.
we need to be level.
Are we not?
Now we are. There we go.
Okay. All right.
There we go.
Thank you for that. Okay. All right, guys. Let's see. We have 6 people in and we have 3 thumbs up. Don't forget to give the video a thumbs up as you're coming in. We sure would appreciate it. I want to welcome everybody that's joining us for this week's segment of Minding Your Own Business, where we talk about faith, family, and finance. I am so very happy to have a lady that I have known for quite a while now.
Many
Um,
years.
yes, Lavender Shederick Williams. Lavender is an author and an entrepreneur. Actually, I think she's a whole lot of stuff. So if I leave something out, Lavender, just because you've been busy since the last time you and I have kind of gotten on, I'm
I
trying to follow
know.
you, but you
I
moving
think
real
you're in the
fast.
race for that.
Yeah.
I think you're just girl anyway.
Um, she is, and maybe some more things, and we'll get to that. But what I know of, she's the founder of Candy Publishing Company. She's the CEO of the Other Woman digital magazine and the founder also of the Facebook community group called Broke by Choice, which I absolutely love. So we're just going to jump into it. And Lavender, if you don't mind, the way I'm going to uh, ask the questions, I wanted to um, start with you as an author first
Okay.
and then maybe get into the digital magazine because I'm really interested in
Okay.
that. And then maybe we can wind it up with Broke by Choice. Now, I know there's
Okay.
a couple of other things you're doing now because I know you're very much into fitness and eating healthy and taking care of your temple. So if you want to touch on that, we're just going to kind of wing it. Okay.
Okay.
But
Let's wing it.
for the most part, this community is really a community of mostly made up of women. You may have a few men in there, but they are entrepreneurs,
Great.
people with small businesses ranging in all different kinds of businesses. So let's start by talking about the author era. Now,
Okay.
I know for a fact that you have self-published a couple of books because I have like 4 of them. um, and because we used to use them in the women's ministry.
Right, right.
So I kind of want to tap into the mindset about um, why you write and how you turn those stories into your platform.
Okay,
Can you elaborate a little bit?
I can. Krista, first of all, congratulations on minding your own
Owned business,
business.
yes.
You also are extremely creative, and I think creativity goes in so many different paths. Because we serve a creative God,
Yes,
and
we
just
do.
look at our universe. So that creative spirit is in us. So people may say, "Oh, she all over the place." I'm supposed to be all over the place.
That's
I'm not
right.
supposed to be stagnant in one place.
That's
So
right. I agree.
congratulations to you, because I remember, speaking of books, the Journey Book Club. I
Yes.
think that was the first,
Yes. Yes.
when I first met you.
Yes.
Yeah, so books, to me, Crystal, it's my life. Those stories are my life. I write about me. When I give workshops, I always say, write about something that you know. I know me. I know the mistakes that I've made. I know my journey. And for one thing, I know I'm not alone as a woman, because women, for whatever reason, we don't talk about those things that we all share. We kind of share the good stuff, but your ministry was good about being open and
Yes.
being real.
Yes.
Um, and I think I just wanted to help empower women, because when we share our mess, somebody else is blessed. I just knew I wasn't the only one. And my writing my story and having the courage to publish it and make it public, it just wasn't a problem to me, because I felt like I have an obligation. If God brought me through something, I had an obligation to not just share my story, but to show His power and how He can work in our lives
Correct.
when we
Yes.
think it's a mess. But He always had another plan. So writing those books and self-publishing just opened up the window for others who wanted to write their stories also, put their life in print. So I think that's how the whole Candy Publishing started. But the business in itself, my back was up against the wall. When I decided to leave my 20-year marriage, I needed more income. When you go from two paychecks to one, it's like, okay, I need to make some money. So I was giving all my information about publishing away for free.
Mm-hmm.
And something said, you need to know your worth, not just as a woman, but as a writer, as a business owner. You're giving away what I feel like my creator placed in me, to not just be a sufficiency, but to sustain me, um, going through my transition as a once married woman to a single woman. And it sustained me for many years. I worked my butt off. I had no idea that it was going. Entrepreneurship is like 24
That's
hours.
right. That's
I had to
right.
find a way to make some money while I was sleeping. Thank goodness for social media. But that's how the writing of books
I know
came, and making it a platform.
my favorite book. In fact, I was rearranging my home office the other day, and I held it in my hand and I kept it. It's the We Snap in Silence.
Oh yes.
That is
Oh.
my absolute favorite book. You can still get it on Amazon for everybody that's listening. It's called We Snap in Silence. Excellent book.
And that was my first.
Yes, that was your first.
Yes.
Tell us, can you give us the names of the books that you published?
You know what? Let me see.
I know We Snap in Silence. That was my
It's not
absolute
in
favorite
silence.
one.
Something about Gosh,
It's
can
okay.
I be real? Can I be
Can I
real?
Be Real
Those were
was
short
another
stories.
one. Yeah,
Yes.
that was a good one. I used them
Um,
all in my women's ministry. I didn't mean to put you on
you
the spot like
did.
that, but I just
You
We
did.
Snap in Silence was my favorite one.
It's my favorite too, and I still share it. I think when all hell breaks loose,
Yes,
that
that was a
one.
good one as well. That was a really good one as
Gosh,
well.
Crystal, I don't know, and I've done some ghostwriting for many books also,
Oh,
and
okay.
gosh, I can't remember.
That's
I
fine.
can't
That's
remember them
okay.
all.
You are still running a workshop, I believe, to for people looking to publish or
I
for
do
beginning
book coaching.
writers.
I do book coaching. Something in me, I was just ready to transition out of publishing books for everybody else. I've got some books that I want to write that I
Okay.
need to spend some time on. So I'm teaching them how to fish. I'm giving them all of my knowledge. Some, if you want to be a publisher, um, I coach you through that. It's much less expensive when you learn how to do it yourself than paying a publisher. And a lot of times I found they want the publisher to do all the work. And most of the books are not finished when I get them. The author thinks they're finished, but I saw just so many ways that they could expound and make the book a little bit more, what's the word, marketable,
Okay.
make it a better book. Because the workshops I attended for myself, it always says, don't write a good book, write a great
A
book.
great book.
Write a
Okay.
great
Okay.
book. Yeah. So I do the book coaching.
Let me ask you this. You said you touched a little bit on, and as much as you want to share, it doesn't have to be a lot, but you touched a little bit on how leaving a marriage of, was it 20 years? I
20
think you
years.
said.
Yes.
A question, it's like, was that the point in your life that made you pick up a pen and say, this is an aha moment? Yeah, like this needs to be a book.
You know, I haven't even written about me leaving my marriage except in the Other Woman magazine. I
Okay.
think the debut issue, I shared why, some of the reasons why I left. But Crystal, is hard to say. I believe the aha moment of you're a writer came while I was going through. I
Okay.
used to always write. I got tablets on tablets, pieces of paper, things, thoughts that I just write down. So if you're listening and you want to write a book and not sure how to, just write everything down, all of your thoughts, anything. Say, oh, can't put that in the book. Write it down because the more information you have, the more you have to work with when it comes to compiling that book and putting that book together. But I remember, Crystal, and I get full when I say this. Every time I sat down to write, it seemed like my then husband, I call him my unhusband now, my then husband,
Okay.
he would always come around. You know, like it's almost like it didn't matter what time of the morning or night that I was writing. I don't know if he thought that I was writing about him. I don't know if he felt like he didn't want me or he saw what was in me as a writer before I saw it myself. I don't know. But I know when I realized that I needed to make more money and I made that decision, everyone has their idea of why I got left a 20-year marriage as a Christian woman. I had to wait until God released me.
My,
I
I
wanted
see.
to go a long time before, but financial abuse is what really made me realize. And I didn't even know I was being financially abused until years after I divorced. But I'm retired Navy. I had to give an account for every penny I spent. Um, I had to say, do we have enough money to get my hair done? Um, can I go have lunch with a friend? And I'm thinking, and we made an agreement, and I agreed he would do the finances. You know, when we went through premarital counseling, who's better with finances and money management. So I'm like, he's the man, the head, you do it. I went in there trusting. Even my parents were on disagreement. My father was like, yeah, you need that one account. You don't need to be both of y'all dipping in it. Somebody needs to be in charge and manage the money. My mother, not so much. She was like, you need your own account. Mama was right
Right.
in my case. In my case. But that really pushed me, Crystal, to make Candy Publishing work and to move forward on everything that I felt like was in my spirit to not just survive, but to thrive in business. And each time I had an idea, I went with it. I didn't ask people what they thought about it because it was given to me.
Right.
That was my vision. So Candy Publishing covers so many different things, and then that's when the Other Woman magazine, which is not about the other woman, but it is about the other woman. It has nothing to do with an affair or what people think. That was part of my marketing plan.
I gotcha.
Yeah.
A question just came in from Kiana. Hey, Kiki. And it says, what advice would you give to a new writer who wants to self publish but doesn't know where to start?
I always say two words, just right.
Just right.
Just
Just
right,
start.
just right, just right. And then when you feel like you're ready, okay, my book is complete, I am ready to publish. The first thing you want to do, I always say get a book coach first. Most people wait until they finish the book. You may feel like you don't need a book coach, but I have not published one book that I felt like it was ready to be published when I read it. Um, we write assuming that the reader knows what we're thinking. You know your story, whether it's fiction or nonfiction, but that writer's going to have 100
Questions.
questions
Yes. Right.
about what you think they already know. So when you think you're finished, I would have someone read it, your best critic, someone who tears your stuff apart and who you may not even think would be a good critic. Let them read your book and ask them for sincere honesty. What do you think? I need you to rip it apart for me. Don't be nice, because this is, if it's your first book, you want your first book. You want to be proud of it. Now we snap in silence when I read it. I cringe because I could have wrote it so much better. But I evolved as a writer.
Right. Right.
So you're always going to look back at your first book and years later and say, "Oh, I could have did that better." But if you can have someone read it for you and just give you an honest opinion, um, that's just a niche I have, is finding more that you could put in your book.
You said something very key too, about evolving. And I think that kind of holds true for any entrepreneur, whatever you do. I know I started a basket business, and that's just something that started really from a hobby, something I enjoyed doing to
Yes.
bless other people. And
Yes.
just the creativity. I always say when my hands are busy, my mind is free.
Okay.
Whether I'm writing or creating something, I love to create. I love to see just a blank canvas and just let my mind run with the possibility of where it can go. So
Right.
I think
Right.
what you said is so key. Whatever we do, we need to evolve. We need to constantly push ourselves to get better. And a lot of time that does bring in feedback from others, whether it be negative or positive. I
It
think it's
does.
what we do with it. So
Exactly.
before I move on to talking about the magazine, one other question I wanted to ask. Do you think, or what would you think would be the biggest misconception that people have about being an author in the digital age? Because everything's so digital now. For
Yeah.
me, my girls and I, we love to read, all three of us. My one daughter absolutely devours books. And I think they got that from me because I absolutely love to read. I read
That's
anything.
great. That's great.
Um, but old school me, I love the feel of a book in my hands. I love to
Right.
smell the pages. I love the ink. I love to just to even hear the pages turning. I just
That's
love the
right.
whole experience.
I do too,
But
Krista.
my daughters love the digital books, the
Right.
Kindles, and I read them, but I don't know. For me, I just don't get the
You
same.
want to hold it.
I do. I
You
want
want
to
to
hold it
hold
and
it,
love it.
embrace it.
Embrace
Yeah.
it. So,
Yeah.
is what do you think there's a misconception that people might have? Because I always hear, "Oh, Mom, that's so old school." Well, I am old. So
I
so if do
know.
you think is there a breakdown, you think, with the younger generation?
Definitely. I don't know if I would call it a breakdown, but we use that word evolving. Technology is evolving. The digital world, that's where we are. I fought making that print magazine digital. I fought it for 3 years. And my sisters kept saying, why don't you go digital? Why don't you go digital? I didn't want to go digital. I like print, just like you, Crystal. I wanted to pick it up. And then when I went digital, there were a few of subscribers because I had subscriptions and everything. I had to stop all of that. It was just it consumed my life. I was doing what, as one woman, what companies do, full of people, the editing, the creativity, coming up with articles, interviewing, editing, formatting, publishing, marketing. Girl, you talking 24 hours, and I didn't know anything about digital. I didn't know anything about creating a magazine. I learned and self-taught myself all of that. And when I say blood, sweat, and tears, that's how bad I wanted it. So it doesn't matter what your business idea is. If you want it, you go through whatever you have to go through because the Other Woman magazine is my baby. But she caused me a lot of late night tears, a lot of thinking I'm learning something. I even paid a guy in Australia to show me how to do the pictures. I had him do the pictures so they were vivid and not grainy.
Right.
You know, nobody knows the background of what an entrepreneur goes through. Nobody knows what you go through in creating and coming up with the ideas for the contents for your baskets. They see that finished product. Oh, this is beautiful. They don't think about the work that you
No,
went into to make it
no.
look so nice and presentable and make people say, ooh and ah. A lot of work. And that's why I say, know your worth as a business owner, as an entrepreneur. Own your creativity to know this is not just me, this comes from my creative God. So you have an obligation to make it the best that you can. But that digital, yeah, I fought it. I fought it. So in business, you have to please your customers. You have to listen to
Got to
your
evolve.
customers.
Hmm.
So that's what I had to do.
Got
I
to
had to make
evolve.
it in print and in at digital. Because someone was like, I don't want the digital. I don't want the digital. I gotta feel it. I want to turn the pages. And I'm like, oh gosh. But anyway, it's available both ways. But I was doing it 3 times a year, Crystal. Then it went to two. And now that I am venturing, the Other Woman magazine will always be. I don't care if I just interview people on the Other Woman magazine Facebook page, it will always be. That's where the whole health walk journey came in because you cannot be the total woman that you were created unless you're putting the right stuff
In
in
your
your temple
temple.
because it impacts how you think. It will blow your creativity through the roof when you eat clean. I was amazed and I said, okay, I can't enjoy this transition by myself. I've always been health conscious, but I made it radical when I realized it was part of a spiritual journey. This is my body is not my own. So I can't put in it what I want to put in it. I have to eat clean. And Crystal, it changed my world. Amazing. Not just my health, but how I think. Like I said, the creativity, ideas just coming out. You're creative already. Girl, be radical about the
Okay.
checkbook. You will
Okay.
scare yourself.
Awesome. Well, this is a good
Yeah.
segue into talking a little bit more about the magazine. How do you, let's see, how do you decide which stories deserve a spotlight in your magazine? Do you just like do people reach out to you, or do you surf social media for engaging content? How do you how do you go about
All of the
choosing?
above, everything that you mentioned,
Okay.
but mostly I listen to Spirit
Okay.
because, again, it's not my magazine. It's edgy, but it's classy. There are no taboo topics in there. Men reached out to me after the debut and they really wanted their own section. They even talked about having the other man. I'm like,
Oh,
look, you guys do
okay.
your own thing, but I did let quite a few men write, and they made a difference in the magazine. We all have a voice. We all have a voice. But yeah, it was, that's my baby. The other woman.
I think I know the answer to this, but I'm going to ask anyway.
Okay.
Is
Who is
there
she?
anything that you may have second guessed yourself on or left out of the magazine because you thought, you know what, this is a little too raw and a little too
No,
real?
not at
Yeah,
all.
I thought I knew the answer to that, but I was going to ask anyway because I know
Yeah,
you.
yeah, not at all. From masturbation in marriage to how to know when your mate is cheating on you. A lot of women don't know, hey, your pH balance. You ain't got to check a phone. You don't have to follow. You don't have to wonder. Your body,
We'll
your
tell you.
pH balance will let you know. So things that even college, a young college girl wanted to share about her first year in college. The magazine could really be much bigger than it is, but it's just me. You need a marketing team when you have a
Yeah.
business.
Yes.
You need a marketing team. I don't have time or the funds to market it, but it will always be. And I think I was going to stop it, uh, Crystal, but a few people ask at least once a year, at least once a year. It is so time consuming. I mean, it's a magazine. When you pick up Cosmopolitan or whatever magazines are out there, those are
Yeah.
companies. I
Yeah.
did this myself.
That's amazing. Kudos to you. I I know it's a lot of work. You could just tell. And how do you even balance?
There was no balance, Crystal. There was no balance. And you know what? Thank goodness I was alone. Because if I had a significant other, he wouldn't have put up with all those hours I spent in front of the computer. Even if I wasn't writing, I was looking for the right pictures. They had to be copyright free. They had to fit the
Right,
article.
right. I
They had
understand.
to, all of that stuff. There was no balance. But it's funny how uh, God works in my life, and I know He does this in everyone, all of His children's lives. But when I wanted to transition out of publishing, I thought it was just me, but He was preparing me for another opportunity. I was also helping veterans file
Yes.
claims. And I was just doing that on the side, I did my own. I went to volunteer at Disabled American Veterans just because they were reaching out for volunteers. I volunteered for a few days and it ended up being, they offered me a job. it was an opportunity I could not pass up.
Okay.
It's 18, 16, 15, so many months of training, 3 college courses that I have to take for this physiology and anatomy, medical terms. It takes up a lot of time. So I wouldn't have had time to give customers in publishing books the time they needed. You know what I'm
I
saying?
understand.
Because
Yes. I
now
do.
I'm back in school. I'm taking college courses for this job. But
Wow.
it's not a job, it's an opportunity for me. It's something that I love doing, just helping, especially the older veterans who don't have access to computers,
Computers.
don't
Hmm.
know what to do. You know, my father's 88 years old, and he had an appointment a few weeks ago at the DAV, and it just did something to me. There are so many of them out there who
Yes.
have benefits sitting on the table that they don't know about.
Yes.
So when you feel like the evolvement process in your life is you're in doubt, I'm not sure if I need to go this way, or I can't walk away from that, or I've done this for so many years, I can't, what's going on? Listen to your spirit. Just, I like to say, let life happen. Just let life happen and forget what people say. Forget their life might be tore up from the floor up, and they're trying to tell you what
What
not
to
to
do.
do
Yeah.
and which direction to
Yes.
go.
Right.
So just follow, even like the cover of the Other Woman magazine. My father said, go with it. My mother was like, oh, I don't know about that. I don't know. I went with my father. He said, you have played it safe and written safe all of your life. Let it go. So, honey,
You just
woo!
let it go. I smiled when you said your dad because if there's one thing that I love, love, love to see you write about, and that's your dad. And I
Yes.
think you preface it by saying, Daddy says.
Daddy said,
Daddy
yeah,
said, and I
yeah,
read it, and it just brings such joy to me when I read it because, my father has passed on, and the
mhm,
wisdom that he instilled in me,
yes, yes.
I was his only girl. We only had two
Oh
of
man,
us, me and my brother and I, but I talk to friends a lot. Some women didn't grow up with fathers in the home, and I
right,
was fortunate enough to do that, and he just made such an impact on my life. So
yeah,
when you write those little anecdotes about Daddy said, I mean, it just touches my heart because such wisdom. And your
yeah.
dad's how old? 90, 80,
88.
88,
88, 88.
88.
And he's the reason for the books because growing up, we couldn't watch TV on school nights. He would like, pick up a book, pick up a book, pick up a book, pick up a book. So we heard that all through our growing up years. And I was a reader. Now, both of my sisters have their master's degree. They went to college. I went for about 2 years, and it's like, this is not for me. I cannot sit and listen to somebody talk to me for another 4. I got to get out of here. So on the way home from college one day, I stopped by the Navy recruiters. I took the test and joined. And that's a part of the whole business. You have to do what feels
He was
right.
right. Hmm.
And if it doesn't feel right here, but you feel like you need to do it, listen to your brain, listen to your mind, because the heart can make us feel like doubting ourselves or unsure. We're so emotional. Some women are emotional beings, which is a good thing. But a lot of times we just need to be more logical about our decisions and not have fear. Um, God has not given us a spirit of fear. So that whole other woman concept, I didn't care what people thought about it. I even had a couple of women, it's not godly. How does it glorify God? Well, God's the one that gave it to me. You don't want
Right.
to read it, it's not for you.
Right.
It's not for
Right.
everyone.
And the Other Woman magazine, the name alone to me sparks aha. Because when I first saw it, I did not think the other woman being another woman. I
Right, right.
immediately thought the other woman, you know,
You know me, Crystal.
yes, in me,
Yes,
not
yes.
not a side piece. We weren't talking about a
Right,
side piece. We're talking about the other
right.
woman because there's so many layers to us as
Yes,
women. And
yes.
sometimes we only think one dimensional, okay?
Exactly.
But I did a ministry illustration one time because that was my thing, not only reading the word but bringing it to life where people can
Right,
understand it. And
right.
I did a whole segment, a whole meeting rather, on seasons, and what it talked about was the seasons in our lives. And it brought you from just adolescence all the way through, how
Right,
in the summer part
right,
of your life, in the fall part of your
right.
life, even in the winter parts of your life. And as I'm progressing through those seasons, I am discovering the other woman. There is so many layers
Yes.
to
Do
me.
you remember the event you had and you had speakers speaking on the different seasons? And I had fall.
You did. That's
I had
exactly what I'm
fall.
talking about. Yes.
Yes,
Talking about in
yes.
the fall of your life, just the experiences that you know, I have just now, woohoo, I've taken early retirement. The gentleman that I work for,
Okay.
yeah, the gentleman that I work for
Really?
retired. Well, they keep trying to put me back to work though. I've only been retired. Seriously, I've only been retired 2 days and I've had like 6 job offers. I told my husband, wait a minute, something wrong with this. I've had 6 job offers in 2 days. But I took early retirement and that was a little, that was a little, I'm not going to use the word fear, but it would have been different because I've been working since I'm 16,
Wow.
out in corporate America. But at this stage in my life, I said, you know what? I'm going to find out what I can do. I want to independently steam. I just want to see. I'm gonna throw it against the wall and see what sticks. And this is how this whole basket thing. My girls and I started a business. We do event planning and things. It's called Adiva and Her Daughters. And we do event planning, and that spun off with my other daughter doing some creative things, and then my baskets came into play. But and I
That's great.
enjoy
I
doing
love
it.
it.
I enjoy
I love
doing
it.
it, and I love to see people happy. When I can
Yeah.
deliver something and I'm proud of it, I know God
Right.
is well pleased. I know God
Right.
is well
Right.
pleased.
Right. Right.
So
Because
let
we're
me.
vessels.
Hmm.
We're vessels.
Yes, we are. Yes, we are. And
Be
I'm
used.
always constantly looking for the next thing to, you know,
You don't have to look, Crystal.
you
It's
know,
coming. You don't have to look.
my lot in life, and I tell, friends of mine, especially my friend Carissa and some other ladies, right now I'm in a stage in my life where I want to pour out everything that has been poured into me. And I'm still
Oh,
learning.
girl.
I'm still
Yeah,
learning. I am still
girl.
learning because let me tell you, this whole digital thing had threw me for a loop too. I taught myself this whole YouTube thing, and I'm still really not that great at it. But thank
You're
God
better
I
than
got
I
great
am.
sisters in Carissa and Kiana. She's on here somewhere. Um, and a lot of the other ladies. But I'm going to segue a little bit because time is winding up. Let's talk a little bit about Broke by Choice. I
Girl.
cannot tell you
Girl.
how much I love the title of Broke by Choice. So, expound on that a little bit. How did you come about with the title? Tell us what it's about.
That came from a conversation with my older sister, who is an artist. In our family alone, we have my son is a baker. He has his own cookie company
Yes.
and cakes. Um, my oldest son recently became a certified fitness personal
Oh,
trainer.
okay.
So I have the artist. My youngest sister is so creative I can't explain how creative she is, where she never got a business, but she'll pour into us and keep us aligned. I'm missing somebody, but there's both of my parents had businesses. We are a multi-million-dollar family, but we are broke by choice because we won't get off of our asses and do something about
I love this. I absolutely love this.
it.
Yes.
That's it. My older sister, we were having a conversation and she was saying something. I said, Deborah, you are broke by choice. You are broke by choice. You have all of this talent in you. You know, it's like, what are you talking about? So all of us, the whole family, I just had a conversation with my nephew today. We were talking about investments and business and how we're getting older and all the ideas. We got a book about that big of business ideas that we were supposed to do, but never did it. People choose to be broke by choice. So if you're an entrepreneur, you want to start a business, you have to know that you may not have $1 million idea. It may not be the first one, but you at least have to start. You have to begin somewhere. Um, I've had so many business. I've been in every network marketing, starting with Amway. Girl, I can name them all. I was always searching, like you saying, looking for the next
Next
thing. And
thing
then I was like, okay, just relax, be still. Whatever you are supposed to do to make money, it's already in
in
you.
you. I believe
You
that.
don't have to go out looking and helping somebody else build their business. And those network marketing, I believe in network marketing, it works, but it wasn't for me after so many years. I wanted to build my own network. I wanted to build up my company. So that's how broke by choice because of my family. If anybody in my family is broke, we are broke by choice because you got to grind.
Right.
You
Right.
got to have that grit.
Right.
You can't talk about I'm sleepy or I don't feel like doing it. And I remember something, I used to follow Donald Trump, like I don't know what, when the Apprentice,
No, oh yeah.
remember that show, The
I remember
Apprentice?
The Apprentice,
I
yes.
watched that show religiously because it was all about business. And I read his book and he said, if you have an idea and it kind of just leaves you, that's not yours. But if you got an idea that keeps coming back, you
Mm-hmm.
need to pursue that.
That's right.
You need to
That's right.
pursue it.
That's right.
So that's the whole thing with my writing. And the other woman came after I left Pensacola and I was led to come to Alabama, living in my parents' home in the room that I slept in, growing up. I'm like, why am I here? My father was talking to me about what's the Playboy mansion? Hugh Hefner.
Hugh Hefner, yeah.
So yeah, so I decided to look at some documentaries on Hugh Hefner, and that's when the idea for the Other Woman magazine came.
Oh,
So I ran and told my father. I said, "Daddy, I watched Hugh Hefner. That man was a businessman, but people know him from the Playboy
Playboy.
magazine
Mm-hmm.
and the centerpiece and the centerfold. And he was so business minded, and they didn't have digital and social media, but his magazine was known worldwide. And people say, oh, well, it was because of the picture in the middle. He had some readers, he had people to invest in that magazine. So you have to believe in what you want to do, pursue it, and know it's not a failure if it doesn't succeed. It's just a stepping stone to what's next.
Exactly.
Everything Candy Publishing and me publishing other people's books led to the Other Woman magazine. The Other Woman magazine led to my health journey. You know, the health journey opened doors to me helping veterans. So it's not like you're walking away from things, you're evolving. Just embrace it. Let life happen. Your creativity goes through many rivers, many avenues. Just do it. And Daddy said, if you want to do something, you better do it now because life happens like
It
that.
does. It does.
Yes.
You're absolutely right. I'm just reading one of these comments. Let's see. Kiana says that her dad says that we are
Okay.
educated fools for building someone else's empire instead of building your own. Daddy
you.
said, you know,
You.
I can definitely relate to that because my father, who only had a seventh grade education, I was when I was born, my dad was in his late 50s. So my
Okay.
mother was, yeah, my mother was 20 some years younger than my dad, but we can go get into all
Uh-huh.
of that. But anyway, he only had a seventh grade education. Um, and he was a merchant seaman, hated
Mm,
it. He came back, and back then it wasn't that many opportunities,
right,
you know.
right.
So he created his own business. My father opened up a jazz lounge in New Orleans.
Wow.
He opened up a jazz, which became a staple in the community. But I
Wow.
used to marvel at him because how could a man with a seventh grade education build a successful business? He
Hmm.
was so financially savvy for, and this is kind of where I get my, well, I get it from my mom and my dad because my mother was the creative one.
Uh-huh.
My mother, I watched my mother, she was a seamstress. She worked for the school board, but she also was a
Okay.
seamstress. And she said
Okay.
that came about because her mother had 11 children. So my mother
Wow.
loved to dress. She loved beautiful things. I used to watch my mother cut patterns out of newspaper
Wow.
and put together these beautiful outfits, like just gorgeous things. So she had the creativity. My dad had the business savvy. And I used to marvel, how could a man with a seventh grade education build a legacy, because the jazz lounge became a staple in the community in New Orleans. He would have Miles Davis came through at one time, John Coltrane or someone else, and he would have all these beautiful pictures of the legacy. But he would tell us that he learned a little bit
Each.
from each of
Yes.
them.
Yeah.
And
He was
my
a visionary.
Yes. Never besides being a merchant seaman in his much younger years, never worked for another man in his entire
See,
life.
I love it. I love
Never
it.
worked.
And
And we never went without.
see,
We never went
Crystal,
without. We were,
Crystal,
I mean, it was just, so I adapted that for him, but he stressed with us education. Education, 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 education. And I would
yeah,
remember him telling me, what you get up here, no man can take that from you.
that's right.
No
That
man can
is
take that from
so,
you.
yes.
So, um, so
And
I
you
just,
have your dad's spirit.
yes,
So the same things that he has done, you can do greater,
yes,
Crystal, because like you said, the
yes,
resources were limited. And my
yes,
father had a sixth grade education. Sixth grade. You know, so I think it's almost like when you have less, you have a more of a drive or you
yes,
think differently because
right.
I gotta support my family. I gotta make it work. And you just give it all you got. We have so many comforts in life. That grit that our fathers had, I don't see much of that now.
Yeah.
I just don't see much of it.
Wow.
It's something.
It is. It is. Well, let me ask. I just have a couple of more questions because the time is getting late. I knew this time was going to fly by because
Fly.
I just
Me
knew it.
too.
Answer this last question for me if you could. What would you say there's a money myth about that needs to be buried in this day and age? Getting back to like broke by choice, are there any money myths that we can put away, like something maybe in your mind for the listeners that's on here now? Well, I don't have enough money to do this because, I mean, I personally believe that we as women, I know me, I'm gonna find some money if there's something I want to do. If I want to get my hair done or my nails done or whatever, I don't care. I will take care of my bills and everything. But if I have to not buy that can of tuna fish or whatever and save that little extra money, I will. So, do you think there's any hindrances about money that you can share with us that we probably need to overcome as we're building these businesses?
I think you said the key word, and that's to save. And it is very difficult to save in our economy right now. But there is always something that you can do to make money.
Yes.
I
Yes.
baked cakes. I baked, and at one time I had probably 32 orders for a red velvet cake one Thanksgiving. What I didn't do is save some. I was so happy to be getting, you know what I'm saying? So,
Yes.
like, you got to have some discipline. If you make $5 one week, we have to learn to save some, give some. What's the other one? Save some, give some. I can't even think of the last one, but it's something that I've always lived by. I never gave to myself. I always put everything out. You got to pay the bills. You got to do this. I don't have anything left. But if you just save $1,
Yeah.
if you get into the habit of saving, and women, we're so resourceful,
Yeah, we are. Yes,
there's
we are.
always something you can do to make $1
Yes.
and just learn to save it. And that's something else. My father, save your money, save, save, save. And it does take money to make
To make
money.
money. Yeah.
I just, when I was giving all the information away, I started doing the workshops. Then I would just practically give the workshop away because I didn't want to put a price on it because I needed people to come. So I made it a little bit less expensive than it shouldn't have been. But knowing your worth as a business owner, put a price on your talent, a
Yes.
price on your time, your effort, because people spend money where they want to.
So true. That
They
is very,
do.
very,
They
very
do.
true. Very
So I don't
true.
know if I answered your
You
question, but
did. No, you
okay.
answered it. You answered it well. I am a well, I was a finance major. So that I'm constantly listening for people with excuses of I can't.
Oh,
I can't because I can't because, when I grew up, there was no such thing as I can't. In fact, I'm so bad now. It's don't tell me what I can't do because now I want to do it.
thank
Because
you. Thank
I
you.
want to prove to myself that yes, I definitely can do this. I definitely
Yeah.
can do this.
Yes, yes. And Crystal, that's a workshop. I didn't know you had that background. But a
Mhm.
lot of women, especially a lot of married women, don't know what financial abuse is. They don't
Yes.
understand financial independence.
Yes. I've
You
taught
know,
many classes.
exactly. I invited the struggle. My father always said, don't be afraid to struggle. So I struggled when I left my marriage. I had to, but it got me to where I am today, financially independent, doing my own thing, own
Yes.
my own house, my car paid for. It's a banged up 2011, but I don't want another
But it's
car note.
yours. I
But it's
know.
mine.
It's
So,
yours. Yeah.
so that's the cutting back and
Yep.
saving. You know, I can go get another car if I
Yep.
want to, but I'm not ready for a car note. So being wise about money management and
There you
budget.
go. There you go. I think that's a part of those layers we were talking about too as you progress through seasons.
Yes,
Some of
yes.
those things that you just had to have when you were younger, the shiny new car. Right now I'm like, look, does it run? I mean, I want to look good while I'm driving it, but I want it to be paid
Thank
for. I want it to be paid for. So I think too, in all of what we've talked about, oh, what happened? Are you still there?
I am, girl. That was my son
Oh,
FaceTiming me. Did I
oh,
miss it?
okay. Well, that's okay because we're just about to wrap it up anyway. Sometimes struggle is a part of the process, and it doesn't have to be bad. Listen, Lavender, thank you so much for joining us today. I really, really appreciate it. I'm definitely going to be in contact with you. to see what other ventures
Well,
that we could get into. I also want to thank everyone that has joined us today for this segment of Minding Your Own Business. I hope you guys have gleaned some tidbits that you could use in your own various businesses. I want to give a huge shout out to my BFF, my moderator and my tech support team, Carissa Ruffin. Thank you, Carissa.
great
And I
job, Krista.
also want to give a big shout out to Kiana Brooks. Kiana, believe it or not, have become sisters. I've never even met her, but I'm telling you, just it's just one of those things where our spirits just connected. She has a YouTube channel called Kiana's Corner, and I want to thank her for brainstorming with me about insightful questions. I always say, if you are the smartest person in the room, then you need to find
Mm,
another room.
yes, so
And
true.
I absolutely love these two ladies for sticking and staying with me. Lavender, again, I do thank you and I appreciate you so very much. You all be blessed.
Thank you, Crystal.
Bye
Bye-bye.
bye for now.